Hello BookTube. So in this video I'm going to make my review of the Sunset Warrior book series by Eric von Lustbader. And this fantasy series has is a series of 5 books published from 1977 to 1997. And I will show you the 5 books. So there's the first book, The Sunset Warrior. There's the second book, Shallows of Night. There's the third book, Daisan. There's the fourth book, Beneath an Opal Moon. And finally, the fifth book, Dragons on the Sea of Night. Now, interestingly, Beneath an Opal Moon was published in 1980, and so there is several years gap until Eric von Lustbader published the final volume in 1997, Dragons on the Sea of Night. Now, I don't have the Gafton print run of book 2 of The Sunset Warrior. I wish I had it. It's actually a black cover with the same weapons motif of the other 3 I have here. Gafton Publishing did not make a printout of book 5. Did not make a same print run with these other ones. They did not print book 5, so I cannot have a matching series of all 5. However, maybe in the future, if a booktuber is friendly enough to get me the Gafton print run of book 2, I'd greatly appreciate it. Maybe if we make like friends in the future. Anyway, what is the Sunset Warrior series about? So, the setting is a post-apocalyptic fantasy world with a lot of Japanese aesthetics to it, like swordsmen and names like Ronin. But as the series goes on into later books, books 4 and 5 in particular, and a little bit in book 3, there's more other cultural influences like Aztecs of Central America, Portuguese, Spanish colonial period, and Middle Eastern, Arab cultural aesthetics. So it starts from mostly Asian aesthetics to expanding to other cultures. So the setting is, like I said, a post-apocalyptic fantasy world on the brink of a second apocalypse. So in the beginning of book 1, there was already maybe hundreds of years ago already a cataclysmic event which, shall we say, plunged the world into chaos, and then the civilization reorganized itself, if that makes sense. And we start off in an underground city called the Freehold, where a swordsman, Ronin, witnesses society collapsing and the machines keeping them alive in this underground society failing. Now the people in this society think that the outside world is all barren and ice, is all just one massive frozen wasteland, when really it's not. By the time of book 2, this becomes abundantly apparent. Now, through a series of through a series of people giving tip-offs that there is a second cataclysmic event which will cause humanity's extinction. The first time, and then there's the second time. And because when the world was initially plunged into chaos, supernatural cosmic forces, as dangerous as this second cataclysmic force, were released. So Ronin, the swordsman, makes his way to the surface to discover that they are not the only surviving civilization in the world, and he embarks on a quest to find the magic to become some kind of demigod, to become some kind of superhuman, to defeat this cosmic evil known as the Dolman, these forces of chaos and darkness. And so he embarks on that quest, and he defeats the forces of darkness. He defeats the Dolman in Book 3. He defeats them in Book 3. Books 4... No. Books 4 and 5 focus on his friend that he meets when he reaches the surface world, a sailor named Moichi. And so books 4 and 5, Ronin, now known as the Daisan, is given more of a secondary side character. The main characters in book 4 and 5 is Moichi, who goes on these quests, on these other quests where other forces of darkness and other forces of chaos try to pop up again to take over the world, to plunge the world into darkness. So the hero of the first 3 books is this character named Ronin, and the hero of books 4 and 5 is a character named Moichi. Now, throughout the first 4 books, most of the civilizations are just humans. But in book 5, you start seeing other things like talking animals, or things like elves and dwarves in other fantasy series. So that's book 5. So I'm just making sure it's still recording. So yeah, I like this series. Eric von Lustbader's language is very flowery. The descriptions of the natural environment I love. It's very great. It's great escapism. The fight scenes, the battle scenes with the sword fights and everything, and the descriptions of the male and female figures, muscles, breasts, etc., can be a little bit over the top, I must say. You could say that this series is sword and sorcery, so to speak, from previous years. And I've heard from some people on the internet that these books are very derivative of other fantasy series. But nevertheless, I like this series because it's just 5 books, and it was what introduced me. It was one of the earliest books, series I read as into fantasy. I was introduced to fantasy through the Sunset Warrior books. So it has a special place in my heart. I enjoyed the books. Like I said, some of the descriptions are over the top, and sometimes he writes from third-person present tense to third-person past tense. Sometimes the writing styles change, and you can clearly see as you read from books 1 to 5, there were the chapter structure was evolving. He introduced a whole bunch of new crazy elements with each successive book. So it's clear Eric von Lustbader was making it up as he went along. He didn't have a large overall vision of where this story would go. But that's okay, because the flowery language I enjoyed a lot. It was real good escapism. And I guess this book, I guess you could call this series trashy. If you wanted to, I suppose. Anyways, I love it. I like it. Some people, like I said, some people think it's derivative of other series. Some people don't like Eric von Lustbader's prose. And by the way, the first book, The Sunset Warrior, was in fact his first series. He's more Eric von Lustbader is more known for his Jason Bourne series, book series succeeding Robert Ludlum when he passed. He continued writing books about the character Jason Bourne, as well as his Ninja series, which I'm not interested in, by the way. I'm only interested in this series. So, I highly recommend this series. There are a few reviews on BookTube, not that many. Anyways, like I said, if anyone can get me the Gafton edition of Book 2, The Shallows of Night, I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, thanks for listening in. I hope this Handycam is making good quality videos for you all. Goodbye.